You're watching Wish TV, News 8 at 11 with Phil Sanchez.
Welcome back. A recent report from Global Data says obesity is having a negative effect on Indiana's economy. This ranges from affecting the state's budget to local health costs. We go unfiltered tonight with Jennifer Ferrer from the Indiana Chamber of Commerce. Jennifer, good to see you. Your initial reaction to this report?
I'm not surprised. I think we've seen that the obesity rates and the overweight status of Hoosiers is definitely not something that we're seeing shrink at all. And Indiana ranks 37th when it comes to obesity across the country. And when you add in overweight in that to the obesity, it's much larger. And when we look at the economic impact, it's $9.3 billion and reduced economic impact to the state of Indiana. And that's 2% of Indiana's GDP.
Explain that a little bit further, if you can. How does that happen?
Yeah, when you think about the impact of obesity on the state of Indiana, it's not a singular data point that we look at. There are so many things that contribute to that. When you think of obesity, we know that there are more than 60 comorbidities that exist when you talk about obesity. And when that's impacting our workforce, we're looking at reduced absenteeism, or increased absenteeism, increased workers' comp claims. We're looking at short-term disability claims. So it's not a singular data point. So it's very comprehensive when we think about the impact of obesity in the state of Indiana.
It's also affecting health costs as well, right?
Yeah, health costs, when we look at the overall health-related costs, it is $1.2 billion for Indiana employers. And that's a lot, right? And when we think about why that is, that's really why this study is so important. We need to raise the awareness that there's a lot that goes into obesity. There is a stigma associated with obesity, which sometimes results in individuals delaying the care that they really need because, maybe they're afraid or maybe they're ashamed that they're overweight and obese. So it does have an economic impact on the state of Indiana.
It's also impacting the state budget as well, I understand.
Yeah, it is. And when we think about it, is 4.6% of the fiscal state budget. And when we think about that, that is fairly significant. It's $966 million that is attributed to obesity on the state's bottom line.
How does the state address this issue? This is not easy.
It is not easy. And right now, we're really trying to raise the awareness that it really is impacting not just us as individuals, but it does have an impact on employers, and it's having an impact on the state and our fiscal viability. So that's part of it. And the other piece is that we need to be able to reduce the stigma and make sure that people are getting the care that they need. A lot of times, eat less, move more is not the answer for some people when it comes to obesity. And we need to understand that somewhere between lifestyle intervention and bariatric surgery, there's a spectrum of resources that individuals need to have access to. And when we can open up access to those other treatment options, then maybe we can do something about the obesity rates in Indiana, but it's going to be a collective state initiative. We can't do that by ourselves.
I have about a minute left. Are you having conversations with lawmakers now on ways to do this?
Yeah, we just convened a symposium last week, actually, that talked about the stigma associated with obesity and what we need to do to educate our healthcare practitioners. The science behind obesity has changed and it's evolved. And if we can educate employers and educate state lawmakers, maybe we can open up access to treatment options that individuals are looking for.
All right. Well, we'll try to get the word out as much as we can. So please keep us posted if anything changes. And if you get any more information for us, we really appreciate you taking some time for us for Unfiltered. Jennifer Ferrer, thank you so much.
Thank you.